Good morning again, student. This is the fourth and last part of the chapter Power Sharing, Class 10, subject Social Science. Student, in this section, we will begin from the forms of power sharing, which is our last heading, and we will try to understand that when the whole idea of power sharing started into existence, when the whole idea of power sharing came into being. We must understand that when democracy or democratic government or democratic idea did not exist, there was no concept of power sharing. So you can say that with the emergence of democracy, the idea of power sharing has evolved in opposition to the notion of undivided political power. Let me explain what it means. As I said little earlier, that when democracy as an idea, democracy as a form of government did not exist, there was monarchical or dictatorial form of government in which it was believed that power has to remain in one person or the group of person. It should not be divided among the people, because the whole idea of power remaining in one hand was for the good governance. It was believed that if power will remain in the hand of all the people, if power will not be if power will not remain in the hand of people or in one hand or group of people, then the proper and effective decision taking might not take place. But today we have a different notion. One basic principle of democracy in the modern time is that people are the source of all political power, and people rule themselves through institution of self-government. Yes, student, this is why our preamble starts with the word we. I could have been the word under the monarchical system. When king was supposed to give an order, it was supposed to be the starting with I. But today we, as the power is in the hands of the people, the whole idea of democracy is about sharing power among the people. We start with the word we. That's why our preamble first line is we the people of India. I hope I made the point clear. But at the same time, you can say in democracy, political power should be distributed among as many citizens. That's what democracy believes, that the political power, what the power of the governance should be distributed among as many citizens as possible, and due respect is given to the diverse group and views that exist in society. So that's how over these years, after coming of the democratic government and democratic ideas and belief, the whole idea has changed. When it was believed that the power should remain in the one hand, like in the hand of king, or among the few people, like in aristocratic form of government. From there we have changed that power has to remain in the hand of all people, as many citizens as possible. And in the coming part we will discuss, student, in this, that in modern democracy this is not only that power sharing is to be considered as one of the means. In the modern democracy, power sharing arrangement can take many forms. Earlier, we said that power sharing is the part of the democratic ideas. It came into existence. The whole idea of power sharing came into existence only after coming of the democratic government and democratic ideas. But can we have power sharing only of a one type? No, it is of various type. We will discuss one by one. In your textbook we have discussed it into 4 categories. So let us move with the first one, that is power is shared among different organs of the government, such as legislature, executive and judiciary. Student, you can say that this division of power, where we are believing that the 3 organs of the government, which are legislature, executive and judiciary, they enjoy power at the same level, number one. Number two, that the power they enjoy are of completely different nature. One, like legislature is only meant to make the law, executive is supposed to execute whatever law has been made by the legislature, and judiciary is meant to ensure that all these laws which are existing has to be followed by the government as well as the people of the country. That is why it has been given another name. It is called horizontal distribution of power, because all different organs of the government are placed at the same level. As I said, same level because they have 3 different nature of power. One is meant to make the law, other is meant to execute the law, and third, judiciary is supposed to make sure that the law is being followed by every single group in the society. So each organ here do the check and balance. But let me show you how the horizontal power of distribution can be seen, taking the example of our country. Look, this is Indian government, and you can see that horizontal distribution has been made among legislature, executive, and judiciary. This legislative body is only supposed to do making of the law. After making of the law, it comes another organ do the another work, that is execution take place. You have studied in your 8th standard, and even in the 9th standard there was a chapter, working of institution, in which you came to know that how after the parliament makes the law, it is executed by the ministers, and the prime minister is the central government, and chief minister and their his minister in the state government. And then you can say that there exists judiciary, and among these set of government there exists a check and balance. You can say that legislature has the power to check the executive has the power to let me show you how. Legislature has the power to control executive. That's how legislature control executive, and legislature also control the judiciary. Similarly, executive control legislature and executive control judiciary, and judiciary has the power to control legislature, and judiciary has the power to control executive. That's why it has been given a name that is called check and balance. Student, in the second form of the power sharing, power can be shared among government at the different level. Here we will find higher to lower level. You can say that a general government for the entire country, which take decision about various issues like defense, currency. We will discuss in the chapter federalism, the coming chapter, that how there are three different layer of the government from higher to lower. One government is meant to take the entire issue related to the country. Another set of government is called provincial or regional level of government. So we can say that this division of power is very much vertical in nature. Vertical in the nature means from higher to lower. The government at the central level, normally we call it federal government, but in our country India we call it union or central government. Make it clear that different names are given. In America, central government is called federal government. In India, central government is called union government, which is likely to take the decision for the entire country. And there exists a government at the provincial or regional level also. In India, there exists a state government. This is a name given to the provincial government, is state government, and to the regional government. You will study, as I said, in the chapter federalism. There exists two set of government. In the rural area, it is called Panchayati Raj system, and in the urban area, it is called municipalities and municipal corporation. A student, this entire division of power is vertical in nature. Let me show you with this slide that this is how the union government is at the top, then comes the state government, and then come the local government. So we have three level of the government sharing same sort of power but divided among themselves. Make the point clear. It is clearly it should be clear in your mind that when we talk about horizontal distribution of power, there is a word used, separation of power. Separation means three different organs of the government, legislature, executive, and judiciary, were sharing three different nature of power, and none of them could be considered one above the other. But in the federal form of government, or in this vertical division of power, you will find that the similar nature of power is divided among the three level of the government. Like, take one of the example of taxation. So taxation is done by the union government, taxation is done by the state government, taxation also is done by the local government. Ask your parent, student. We pay the income tax. When we pay the income tax or excise duty tax, these are the tax given to the central government. Then we pay various tax to the local government, state governments. State government charge the entertainment tax. Whenever you go and watch a movie, the movie, along the ticket what you purchase, it's 40-50% goes to the government, that is taken by the state government. Then there are other tax which are collected like house tax, water tax. These are the local government area. So you can say here it is not separation of power, rather a division of power. Most of the time students do not differentiate between these two words, that what is separation of power and what is division of power. Third category of power sharing is that it can be among different social groups such as the regional group, or religious group or linguistic group, or the weaker section of the society, what include the females also. The women are also included in this category. If you remember in class 9th, we discuss about the reserve constituency in the chapter electoral competition, and in the chapter number 4 we discussed, chapter number 4 was working of the institution, where we discussed that how within the parliament there is a provision made for the reservation of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Whole idea is to share the power between these groups which were considered socially and economically weaker, socially and educationally weaker. And because if this such kind of arrangement of reservation could not have been made, it was not possible for them to share the power. It could not have been possible to ensure the participation of these weaker section of society in the decision making. And in the beginning we already have made the point clear that power sharing has to ensure the sharing of power among people, as many people as possible. And moving to the last point, student, that is the fourth form of power sharing, that power sharing arrangement can also be seen in the way political parties, pressure groups and movement control or influence those in power. Yes, student, in the earlier part, if you remember the cartoon of the German engineering, the German car, the German government, in which you could find that there was two steering. Did you notice that there was two steering in the car? What it was denoting, that the two political parties which came closer to form a coalition government, in spite of that there was a sharp difference between them, was only purpose to share the power of the governance between themselves. So you can say that political parties, when they form a coalition or an alliance, their only agenda is that in the process of the governance they want to share the power. Similarly exists some pressure groups and movement. You will study in the coming part of this textbook, that is there exists pressure group. These pressure groups do not participate in political power game like winning election, contesting election and winning election and forming a government. That's not their cup of tea. But pressure group has a very important influence in the decision taking process of the government. So you can say that pressure group and movements also share the power along with the government political parties. By this means we can say, student, that we have understood the importance of power sharing in this chapter. We have understood that power sharing arrangement is a very modern democratic ideas. It is a part of modern democratic ideas, and we can also say that power sharing can be of various type. In your book we have discussed these 4 kind of power sharing. That's how we are completing this chapter. I would like to tell you that the second power sharing, which was vertical division of the power between the 3 different level of the government, we will be making a detailed study about the federalism. This system, this vertical division of power is also called federal structure of the government. So our next chapter is all about federalism, where we will discuss that how vertical division of power include various power sharing arrangement. Thank you, student.